Guys, let's solve for this equation here. X to the power 2/3 minus 3, x to the power 1/3 plus 2 equals to 0. So this equation is a bit different than the ones that we have done before, where we have x to the second power, x to the 1 power, x to the third power, x to the fourth power, right? So this one is a bit different. But what are we going to do? We're going to go through the quadratic equation in order to solve for this one. How? Let's go for it. So the quadratic equation we all know is what? Is ax to the second power plus bx plus c equals to 0. So we're trying to rewrite this equation into this format. All right? So to do that, we're going to have to make some assumptions here, right? Meaning what? So we have y, for example, y is going to be equal to x power 1/3, like this one here. Okay? So if it's so, that means then y to the second power would be equal to what? Would be equal to x to the power 2/3, right? Because when this one is y power 1, this one is y power 2, so that means if you take 1/3 times 2, you end up getting 2/3. That's how we do that, okay? So that means what? That means this original equation, you're rewriting it, having what? Then we're going to have y to the second power minus 3 y plus 2 equals to 0. Because see, y squared we say is equal to what? X to the 2 power 3. So that's the same one here. And then minus 3, x to the power 1/3 is what? Is y. Okay? Then plus 2 equals to 0. So nothing happens to the constant, the 2 stays 2. So now we end up with a quadratic equation. All right? So we're going to use the AC method here, right? Meaning that A equals, so A times C. So that will give us what? So AC method. So the A, which is 1, C, which is 2, correct? So the A times the C is equal to 1 times 2, which is equal to 2. Now we're looking for two numbers. When you multiply them, you end up with positive 2. When you add them up, you're going to have the C, which is negative 3. Or if we go back here, that's the same thing. So A equals to 1, C equals to positive 2, B equals to negative 3. So what would be those two numbers? All right? So we're going to talk about that negative 2 and negative 1. Because negative 2 times negative 1 will give you positive 2. And negative 2 plus negative 1 will give you what? Negative 3. We good? All right, so let's go. So by the time we get there, so we're done. Y minus 2, then y minus 1 equals to 0. That's how we factor it. Okay? So we factor the problem, so we have what? So we have y minus 2 equals to 0. And then we have y minus 1 equals to 0. So when we solve for y, so y here is going to be equal to 2. And then y here is going to be equal to 1. Are we good with me? But don't forget, our original problem is not y. It's x, power 2/3, and then we have x power 1/3. What did we say? We said that y is equal to what? X power 1/3. Okay? So if that is so, what do we have to do? So we're just going to substitute it. So instead of having y, so y becomes then x 1/3 equals to 2. What are we solving for? X. But because we're solving for x, what's going to happen? We're going to have to take the cube, the power 3 of this one. Whatever we do on one side, we do the same thing on the other side. Because once we cube this one here, the x power 1/3, what's going to happen? This is out. So x is equal to what? 2 to the third power, which is 2 times 2 times 2. That gives us 8. So x equals to 8 is one answer. All right? So once we get to this one here, y equals to 1, what's happening to this one? The same thing. So we know that y equals to what? X power 1/3. So we have x power 1/3 is equal to what? 1. So again, we're solving for x. So that means we're going to have to take the power 3 of this one. And then whatever we do on one side, we do the same thing on the other side. So what's going to happen? So 3 out. So x equals to what? 1 to the third power is 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. And not, ladies and gentlemen, 1 times 3, which is 3. No, that one is definitely wrong. So your answer is x equals to 1. This is what you get. All right? So these are the two solutions of this problem. But, ladies and gentlemen, what else can we do? We can check them. Okay? So checking them just means what? So checking them means we're going back to the original equation, right? And then we're substituting these answers in there. So we're going to go with x equals to 8 first, right? So if we do that, so that means x equals to 8. So if x equals to 8, we're going to substitute that in there. So that will give us what? 8 power 2/3, right? Minus 3 times 8 power 1/3 plus 2. And the answer should be equal to 0 after we calculate this one. So what's happening here? So this one is 8 power 2/3, right? So let me come here. So 8 power 2/3, how can we break down 8? 8 can be what? 2 to the 3rd power, right? So it's 2 to the 3rd power, power 2/3, minus 3 times 2 to the 3rd power, power 1/3, plus 2 equals to 0. And then what's going to happen? So 3 out, so we end up with 2 to the 2nd power, correct? Minus 3 here, what's happening? 3 out, this one is just 3 times 2, then we have to add 2 to it. So what is 2 to the 2nd power? 2 to the 2nd power is 4, and 4 here we have negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, plus 2 should be equal to 0. And we all know 4 plus 2 is equal to what? 6. So 6 minus 6, that will give us 0. So 0 equals to 0. This is a true statement. And because this is a true statement, that means our final answer in this case, x equals to 8, is indeed correct answer. And then we're going to have to do the same thing for x equals to 1. So I'll leave that up to you guys, ladies and gentlemen, to try that, to check it, when x is equal to. So when x is equal to 1, you guys deal with that, okay?